Hey guys, so today you and I are going to talk about being a code monkey, and if you are one. So let's get into it. So the question in question was a little bit of a story, but it basically went something along the lines of, Fredrik, I'm working as a junior developer in a consultancy that takes in outsourcing work. And I feel like I'm not learning all that much. I am forced to self-learn almost everything and I don't get any training. And I'm wondering if this is hurting my ability to become a mid-level or a senior software developer. Should I switch companies and am I a code monkey? And the short answer to this range of questions would be no, you're not a code monkey, and yes, this is going to hurt your career. Let me explain. So let's back up a little bit. So the root of this question was basically that this person feels that they aren't getting any guidance. And as you can imagine, if they're working in a consultancy where they take in outsourced projects from different companies from across, from different regions in the world, odds are that you're not going to work as part of a team. You're not working for a quote-unquote real product company. A product company is a company that invests usually in a digital product and tries to go for quality of service and quality of development as opposed of quantity. Now, the consultancies are usually a place where you find, and you have people who are good. Some consultancies have good developers, but it is it's almost a prejudice at this point, and I think it has a root in reality in many cases where if you work for a consultancy, you are more likely to work on shittier projects and you're more likely to hack things together or to be part of that sort of practice. It's because a consultancy has a very different, in general terms now, value system than that of a product company. Google, as an example, is surviving based on the quality of the systems that they build. Your little consultancy survives by getting the next customer. Now think about that. The next customer. What does that mean? Does that mean that the priority is to make really good projects? No. It's about getting the next customer. And you can achieve that, I'm very sorry to say, even if you write really shitty solutions. And that's, I'm sorry to say, the reality of the situation. However, what you're describing to me, is that you are pretty much alone. And he also explained in his letter to me that he feels like he was deploying some new solutions to Amazon and some stuff to Azure, and he basically just solved the problem by going to Stack Overflow and copy-pasting code a lot to get it to work. And what you're describing is not uncommon, and why I want you to understand that you're not a code monkey is because what you're doing is very, very normal for a junior software developer who has no guidance, who has nobody to teach them, who has no. I would be very surprised if you have anybody who you can ask for help. And what are you going to do? Well, you can't do much because you need to produce within the time that you have been given. And unless you have enough time to actually get mentored, or you have the right sort of mentor to do things in a correct fashion, quote unquote, well, then you're gonna go into desperation mode. And desperation mode usually is that you copy paste things, or you don't really understand what you're doing, and you just try to sort of get it to work because you have nobody around with more experience who can tell you that, oh no, you should do that instead of that, and this is gonna work, but you're forgetting about these things because you're not aware of them. And that's normal. That's the whole process of learning. You have to fuck up enough so that you learn from your mistakes. And the shorter path is to have someone who's already made all those mistakes and all that work teach you, to just show you how it should be done. So a code monkey is not the sort of person who just copy pastes code. A code monkey is an individual who only follows the specification. Now, there are many types of developers. Some developers, they want to be involved, they want to be social, they want to pair program, stuff like that. Some programmers want to work with the product companies and make really high quality products. They're basically mini POs. And then you have some programs who just want to be told what to do and they just want to do that thing. These are usually, not always, there's a spectrum to these things, but these are usually the programmers that are code monkeys. Because what they will do is that they will take the uninformed specification of a stakeholder and just read it as the truth. And they will say, okay, I will build this. It does not matter if there are mistakes or there are flaws or stuff like that. They don't even consider that. All they're going to do is that they are going to build exactly the thing that they have been asked to do, because their focus isn't to do what's right for the company or to help the stakeholders to understand the impact of the specification and help things move along and become something greater than it is. Their focus is just to do the job so that they can go home and cash in their paycheck. That is a code monkey. A code monkey is you can have code monkeys, but it is vital for you to not have only code monkeys, and you should never ever have a code monkey in a influential position. Like if you have a team lead or you have if your only developer is a code monkey, it is, well, it will work because they will get the job done, but the system it's just a matter of time before the system turns out to be complete shit. In the code monkey programmer's defense, it's very likely that a very innovative and passionate developer can cause the same sort of problem because they don't have any, like it's like an addict, like dealing with an addict. You give them a specification of building a shed, and they will build you a shed with all kinds of bells and whistles and Christmas trees and all kinds of other stuff that you like. There's a pool all of a sudden, and all that sounds really nice until you realize that the delay was several weeks and you now have to pay for that extra time as well. Like there's a spectrum. There's pros and cons. Like ideally you want a well-rounded team that have strong communication to mitigate this sort of problem. The code monkeys do really, really well if they're paired with someone who is a little bit of a broader perspective type of person. And the broader perspective, or the innovators and so forth, they're usually well paired with someone who is a little bit more conservative, who says that, all right, yeah, that sounds cool, but this is so much simpler. Why are we not doing this? Having them at about the same power level is very useful. So for you, whether or not you should stay as this company, or if this company is damaging your career, it comes down to if you're learning new things, because you're not necessarily a code monkey just because you're learning by yourself. What's important is if you're progressing, are you learning new stuff? It does sound like you're learning some stuff, but you're mostly learning that on your own, which in my opinion is not the best way to solve this sort of issue that you're having. So I highly suggest that you really sit down and think about that. Are you learning stuff? Or is someone at that company giving you something? Because if it's all you, if it's only you, then there are better options. Don't get me wrong, if you're getting almost endless amounts of time to self-study, well, that is a perk, because most companies will not allow you to do that. So it comes down to your situation. If you feel that there's another company out there that has a spot for you where you can be part of a team and actually learn stuff from people who are more experienced than you, then I highly suggest that that's the way you should go. But if that's not the case, then going from this company to another company where you're also working alone, well, what's the point? Then there's not really much of a point here. So what I want you to take away from this is basically number one, you're not a code monkey just because you copy-paste code sometimes, or because you're trying to solve a problem that you're ill-equipped to deal with. You're a code monkey if you're not actually thinking about what you're doing. You're not thinking about the problem that you're solving, and you're not talking and you're not invested in making sure that the results of your work is going to be good. Code monkeys are usually developers who only focus on getting the job done. Doesn't really matter what it is. They don't really care. Like, they don't want to have a dialogue with the stakeholders. They just want a piece of paper or something that tells them what to do so they can do that thing and then go home. That's a code monkey. They're just looking at the screen. They're not looking anywhere else. And for you, if you're working completely in isolation in a consultancy as a junior developer, I highly recommend that you ask yourself, is this company giving me what I need to develop as a professional programmer? Because if you want to stay a mid-level programmer, You can stay at this company no problems. If you want to get as far as possible in your career, it is vital for you to both have technical skills and social skills. And the social skills and the technical skills are easier to find in a group of other more experienced developers. The social skills are almost impossible to find anywhere else. And these things are the main factors that are going to dictate whether or not you stay a junior, if you stay a junior or mid-level for quite a few years, or and if you ever make it to a true senior's position. Have a great day.